In this video, I will show you how to create this icon motion trail effect. And basically we will turn a boring animation into a really cool looking icon animation. Now, if you want the project file from this tutorial and the project file of all the other tutorials, then do join the Social Creator Club Pro. You will not only get access to these templates, you will also get access to a pro community and deep dives on several styles. I will go even more in depth than my tutorials. So it's basically like a fast track to become a pro editor and also learn how to get clients. Again, link is in the description, and now let's jump into it. We're here in After Effects and let's create a new composition, 4K, 25 frames per second, comp 1, and just press OK. Now I already have these icons. You can of course download these from Flat Icon, doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna drag that in, and since this is a black icon, we can't really see the icon. So the first thing I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go to my effects and presets panel and I'm gonna add a tint to this. Just double click on this and then change the map black to a color that you want. For example, blue or red. I always like to not go fully red, but like a off color, something like this. That's okay. And now I'm first gonna animate it. And I'm gonna do that by pressing P for position, setting a keyframe. And let's move it first from left, go to 1 second and move it to right by holding shift and just dragging it out. Cool. And then copy the first keyframe, and then we're gonna go to 2 seconds and we're gonna paste it again. Now, if we play this, we have this really boring animation and this looks horrible. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. Now we can go to the graph editor and change the graph here. You can of course also use a plugin for this. But in this case, since I want to adjust all the keyframes, I'm just gonna select them all, right click, keyframe velocity, and I'm gonna change the influence to 80% on the incoming and 80% on the outgoing. Press OK. And if we now play this, it will be way smoother. As you can see, this already looks really nice. And now I actually want to loop this. Now, of course, we can paste the keyframes a couple times, but there's actually a good expression for this. And to apply this expression, we're going to hold Alt and click on this stopwatch. And I'm going to type in loop, and then we can already see it here, loop out. Just double click on that and make sure to click in this gray area, and this will be applied. And basically what this will do, this will loop our animation. So we'll continuously keep on doing this funny animation. I'm going to press S on my keyboard and I'm going to scale it a bit smaller, probably something like this. And now I'm going to hit Command Shift C, Control Shift C on Windows. This will open up this window, and this is the pre-compose window. We can give this a name, for example, box, and just make sure move all attributes into the new composition is turned on, and press OK. And this will now turn into a comp. And this is important for what we're going to do now, because I'm now going to add a echo effect to this. Just double click. Now you should be able to already see what's happening here, but we have to adjust these settings. So for the echo time, I'm going to type in -0,001, hit enter. Then the number of copies, I'm going to type in 50, and the echo operator I'm going to change to maximum. And as you can see, this will create this really cool motion trail. And if we now play this, as you can see, it will already have this really cool motion. I think this already looks super dope. Now, of course, you can change these values. You can also make it decay, so it will fade out later on. If you do that, that's also a possibility. For example, if we set the decay to 0.9, you have this effect, which is cool, but it's more like a motion blur effect. I'm just going to change the decay to 1. And now I'm going to stylize it even more. So we can, for example, add a glow to this, and ideally a deep glow, but a normal glow would work too. If we just apply this, just drag it on or double click while you have the layer selected. Let's increase the glow radius and dial down the glow intensity by a lot. Now I can also add a noise to this. To search for noise in the effects and presets, let's drag that onto. Turn off the use color noise and change the amount of noise to 10. And this will add a bit of texture to it. As you can see, really dope effect. And then lastly, we can also even add a posterized time. And if we add this to this, this will basically add this low frames per second look. So we can set this to, for example, 17. And this will be really cool. As you can see, I think this is such a dope animation already. And the funny thing is that you can do this, of course, with every icon. We can just replace this icon that's in here, but there's also a really good hack to apply this to other elements. And if you never use this method, then this is going to be a game changer for you. What we can do is actually select all of these effects by holding shift and clicking on the bottom one and then on the top one. And then we drag this to the effects and presets panel. Now you need to save this effect somewhere. You can give it a name, for example, motion trail. Press save. And if you then go to your animation presets and to your user presets, you should be able to see it. Here we can see it, motion trail. Now I will show you how to create a simple line animation and to apply this preset. So let's go to the pen tool, make sure nothing is selected, and let's set the stroke to the same color, maybe also something like a reddish like this. Make sure the fill is set to none. And then I'm just going to click for one point here. I'm going to click in the middle while holding shift, and I'm going to drag this out, and I'm going to set another point here. So we made a nice straight line. Now let's open this shape and let's quickly animate this a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a trim paths, and I'm going to open this trim paths, and I'm going to set a keyframe. Now let's go back to the beginning and let's set it here to 0. So we'll basically have a simple line animation. Now, of course, we can also select these keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and go into the graph editor. Let's select the last keyframe and let's drag this out a bit. And maybe the first one also a bit, something like this. So it's a bit more smooth, as you can see. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to open the path and set a keyframe for the path. Let's drag this out a bit, and I'm going to adjust the path. I'm just going to go to the selection tool, select the middle path point, and let's drag this out a bit down like this, and then maybe also a bit up. And let's see what this will look like. So it will flow, and then it will snap into place. Now, of course, we can also easy ease this, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. And same again, we can go into the graph editor and maybe add a bit of a ramp up and ramp down. Cool. And now, of course, the trick. We have the effects and presets, and we have already this preset made. We can now just drag this onto our shape layer. We don't have to do anything. And if we now play it, you will see that this will also have this really cool motion trail effect. Now, in this case, I actually want to adjust it a bit. I want it to be a bit longer. So you can change the echo time, or we can change the number of echoes. So we can change that to 100. So there will be a bit more motion. Maybe drag the keyframes out a bit. As you can see, this looks super cool, right? Now again, since we made this preset, we can of course apply this to other elements too. We can even go to the text tool and type in our text here, motion trail. Let's select this, turn off the stroke, and change the fill to a cooler, maybe just an off-white. Press OK. Let's make this a bit less big. And then we can just set a simple keyframe with P for position. Let's go to the beginning. Let's move this up. Then of course, select all of the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. And in this case, I'm going to go to the graph editor, just select the last keyframe and drag this out. Now I might have to adjust this a bit. I think this probably goes a bit too slow. Let's turn the shape and the box off just to quickly preview this. Yeah, this goes a bit too slow. Let's move these keyframes a bit more together, and as you can see, this looks dope. Nice. And again, we can go to our presets, drag this on the text, and if we now play this, you can see this really cool text. And you can also change the echo time to be a bit longer, so it's now 0.001. We can change this to 0002, and it will make the effect longer, as you can see. Now you can only push this so far. Like let's say we set it too far, you can see the echo effect, and basically you want it so all these echoes are so close to each other that they form a trail. And from my experience, that's 0.01 or even lower. And as you can see, you can still see the effect happening here a bit on the T. So ideally you want to set it on 0.001. And then you can see it's just one single trail. Now I'm going to just show you this one more time, and now with the ellipse. So let's say we select a ellipse. Let's set this stroke to none, and let's set the fill to like off-whitish, something like this. Let's draw it by just holding shift. Cool. Press P for position, set a keyframe. And we're going to go a bit further and move it a bit, go a bit further and move it a bit. So we have 3 keyframes. I'm going to select all of these keyframes. I'm going to right click on the position, and I'm going to click on separate dimensions. Then the Y position, I'm going to select those keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. Then I'm going to go into the graph editor, and make sure your graph editor is set to edit speed graph. And you do this by clicking on the icon next to the eye icon. Then select the X position and the Y position so we can see them both. And then I'm just going to select this first keyframe of the Y position, and we can see that this is the Y position because it's a straight line. And now I'm just going to drag this down to maybe something like this. Then I'm going to hold Alt and drag this one out too. Then for the next one, we don't even have to hold Alt. We can just drag this out to something like this. And same with the last one, we can also drag this out. So you have this nice mountain or butt. You can call it whatever you want. And basically we'll make the circle go up, and it will go down, and it will bounce, bloop. And that will happen here till it's here, and here it won't bounce, it will just end. Just a simple and cool animation. I'm just going to go out of our graph editor. I'm going to scroll down to our effects and presets, go to the animation presets, and again, the motion trail preset that we created, and I'm just gonna drag that onto our shape. And then you get something like this. Like I said, you can apply this to all your animations, and it's basically a cool alternative to motion blur. Of course, don't overuse it, and maybe it also doesn't fit with every style, but I think you can apply this to a lot. And if you want to learn more, if you want to become an even better editor, then do join the Social Creator Club Pro. In this pro community, you will get access to over 100 hours of course material. Of course, you get access to premium assets, you get access to the editing challenge, and much more. Do check it out. Link is in the description. Don't forget to leave a comment of what you want to see next. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And then, like always, thanks for all the support. I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful for all the positive feedback that I'm getting. Then thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.